Coach Whiting, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. Yes, we sometimes refer to you as Coach Whiting. Maybe students in your class call you Coach Whiting or Mr. Whiting. Some people refer to you as the pitching whisperer. And a select few may call you Red Velvet. I don't know. There's only a few that really know that nickname. But it's reserved for only the special people. But no, thank you for coming and spending a little time with me today. I appreciate it. I want to read a quick passage as we start today. We look at John 3:30. John 3:30 says, "He must increase and I must decrease." I launch with that scripture because I think about you. I think about the role you've played in my life, my wife, kids, and the greater community of West Cobb and branching out from there all over Metro Atlanta. But I think about how you serve faithfully so many different people. The scripture tells us in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3, it says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." Look, let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. And those are two passages that come to mind as soon as I think about you and I think about how the Lord has gifted you. And I can't help but wonder, where did you learn this heart of humility, or was it innate, inborn? Did your parents teach you this, grandparents, friends, brothers? How did this come to be?
Well, first, I'm super humbled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. This is a great honor for myself. But to answer your question, really, honestly, like watching my grandparents, my parents always serving, whether it be in the church or just the local community. And it's funny, when we first met, Philippians 4 was what you and I talked about. And it's funny that kind of full circle coming back and talking about that again today. Being less of ourselves and more of others, putting others' needs before our own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what coaching is all about. I think that's kind of what has really helped our Harrison baseball program, where we're not that we weren't before by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But making that, like seeing our guys really grow and taking that next step, not just on the field at Harrison, but now that they're branching off and being able to play at the next levels.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, that's very true. I mean, I've seen you play such a key role in the lives of a lot of young men and women at Harrison High School. But I think where I get to see it the most is on the baseball field. And I've seen so many guys come in and they're good baseball players. They are confident. And yet as they walk through 4 years and they have a process, they're learning how we do things at Harrison as far as the baseball team is concerned. But not only that, they have the life-on-life relationships with you, with Coach Story, Coach Evans, Coach Seed, myself, the other coaches. I think especially if they're pitchers, you have a way of really instilling that same idea and mentality into those guys. You know, pitchers are a unique character. Their breed is different than a lot of guys. And sometimes their worst enemy is themselves.
100%.
They get in the way. They overthink the pitch. And I've seen you, and I've had the privilege of standing there next to you as you call games. And these guys, initially, maybe the first couple times you're calling a game, maybe they're a little hesitant to throw different pitches. And then when they begin to trust you, I had a conversation with Luke Hutchinson not too long ago. And I said, Luke, when you started throwing for varsity last year, I said the first thing I noticed was you just wanted to live away. You didn't want to go in at all. And the new Coach Whiting was calling in. And he said, yeah, the thing was when I began to trust him and just throw it. He said, I began to see great things happen. And so you have that ability to talk into these guys' lives and win their trust. And you're also kind of this sports psychologist, as it were, because those pitchers sometimes get out there and they get in their head. Mm-hmm. And you've got one of the best sayings. Hey, it just takes one. It just takes one to get out of the inning. And you help simplify their thinking because it's compound when you're standing out there.
Right.
If you could maybe boil it down to one or two things, what are some key aspects of pitching that would be beneficial for all guys to know? Younger guys as they're coming up, guys who are just getting started in high school, and even guys who are in college. You get to that higher level, even in the minors, and you learn all these things.
Right.
And it's great. You're pulling from all these resources, but sometimes you've got to take some kind of education and you've got to boil it down to something we can execute on. And I think that's where you've been very successful with these guys. But maybe what's one or two things that you can think of that would be helpful?
I think the first is staying true to yourself, like being okay and being comfortable in your own skin, and knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I think that's what's so good about what we do at Harrison is everybody's different. Everybody's background is different. Everybody, how they got to where they're at is different. And so being able to meet them where they're at, and having that conversation and then kind of understanding that regardless of what's going on behind you, what's going on in front of you, knowing that you're just one pitch away from getting out of whatever that perceived situation was. But again, going back to your question, I think it would be staying true to yourself and then just being athletic. If you can do those two things, then everything else will tend to fall into place the way you want it to fall into place, as far as mechanics, as far as repeatability, as far as direction. Because think of the guys that have come on the podcast, Craig, you've got Micah, two totally different pitchers.
Yeah.
The result that you're looking for is the same, but how they get to that point is totally different, and how they're wired specifically is totally different. What's going through their mind. And so just being able to stay true to who you are, trusting that process, and really, to your point, just keeping it very, very, very simple and just win that pitch. Same thing you tell the hitters.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where you've done a great job, is because we can easily see how the mental side of pitching and the mechanical side of pitching are amalgamated, intertwined. And I'm sure sometimes you feel like an electrician in the middle of a bunch of wires. You're trying to figure out which ones they're firing on and then begin to talk so that you can help them put it all back together. And some of that is just simplification for these guys. And some of it's the building the relationship with them to let them know, dude, I care about you.
Right.
I want to see you succeed. I'm here to build you up. I'm not here to break you down. If you succeed, we all succeed.
Right.
So that's why we're doing what we're doing, the different drills. One thing mechanically, you have one or two things mechanically that maybe, and I think off the top of my head, maybe you've had to tell a few guys, maybe even my own son, I think God has made us with an upper half and a lower half. There's 50% in each category, and I guess you got to use, both of them. Maybe
it helps for sure.
Yeah. But any kind of mechanical things that you can explain or maybe point out that guys should be working on if they're just wanting to be an overall balanced pitcher.
Well, we'll use that last word, but just balanced.
Yeah.
Being able to establish and create balance is paramount, because you see it and you talk about it with the hitters too. Hitting and pitching aren't that dissimilar. The biggest difference is one, you're carrying a bat, and the other one, you got a ball and a glove.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is I try to talk to with pitchers is when, like as a hitter, if you're getting out on your front foot, is that a powerful position to get to?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a powerful position to hit from?
Mm-hmm.
And most of those pitchers have a hitting background, and they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it's not a powerful position to hit from, then why do we want to get there as a pitcher?
Yeah.
And then you kind of start to see that light bulb go off, and they're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the balance piece, and then just staying in that back hip.
Yeah. It is crucial that we have to use the lower half with pitching and hitting.
Right.
And so many guys forget about that and just use that upper half, and you're limiting yourself. You're putting a governor on how high a performance that you can really put out there.
Right.
Well, talking about baseball for a second. So I know you went to East Paulding High School, which basically could have been cousins or next door neighbors to Harrison. You guys were so close, and yet there was a county line that separated it, and for some reason that made a difference. I don't know why. But when you think back to your days at East Paulding, tell me a little bit about playing baseball there, going to school there. What are some of the things that stand out that you enjoyed and things that you learned and the skills of not only life, but baseball?
Coach Green, who was our head coach for my career at East Paulding, was instrumental in my development. He was old school, much like Coach Elkins. And I really thrived under that type of leadership. Yeah. It was very black and white.
Yep.
There was no gray. So you knew exactly where you stood. Now he was originally from Mississippi, so there was some Southern dialect that being from the West Coast had to swim through for a little bit. So it was a little difficult there my sophomore year, but I got on his page. Like I say, we got on the same page. I got on his page, and after that, like things really, really took off.
If I can back you up for just a second, and I didn't think about this until I don't know, a couple of years into our friendship, and you were talking about how you had moved from California, and I'm thinking, oh my Lord, he moved from California to Paulding County, to East Paulding. You got to tell me, when you moved, what were some of the things that really stood out from California to East Paulding?
The first was not having any family. We were the only one here.
Yeah.
So like weekends where you guys get to hang out with Big Daddy and Grandma. Mine were still on the West Coast. Wow. So that part was the biggest difference. The next was when we got into school and we had some teachers that were raised in the South. And so some of the vernacular.
Oh man.
Like yonder. That one was a little bit different. It took me a little while to figure out where that was and what that meant. Luckily, one of my best friends was in my class, and so he was kind of my translator.
Oh,
and so that helped out a ton. But it was really funny there for a little while because I'd come home and I'd be like, Dad, what does this mean? And he'd just sit there and laugh and was like, all right, bud, let's have a little. Let's have a little dictionary time right here.
So was it your dad's job that brought you guys here from California?
Yeah, he worked at Lockheed Martin.
Okay.
And was on the F-22 project.
Whoa.
And his part of the project got transferred to Dobbins or Lockheed out here. So
yeah. Wow. So where did he go to school, and what kind of degree did he get? Because obviously he's a pretty smart guy, it sounds like.
He went to UCLA.
Oh, wow.
My mom, when he and my mom met, they had me. And so he was going to night school, and to get his degree. So talk about work ethic and learning it real life.
Right.
Having a family, raising a child, and then going to night school on top of that to get your degree, so that you can advance in your profession to be able to provide for your family.
That's very commendable. Amazing.
Really is
hard work, and it. I'm sure it motivated you as well as you see your dad doing those kind of things to provide for the family. That's pretty amazing. Well, back to the East Paulding. Sorry I took you off in a little bit of a parenthetical statement there, but it was kind of fun for just a minute. But thinking about East Paulding.
Mm-hmm.
What did your career look like at East Paulding as you got there? Did you spend some time playing JV, then you went to varsity? I know ultimately you're a Hall of Fame, East Paulding baseball player, which is a great honor. It's amazing. And so congratulations, by the way, for that, because it's a high honor
thank you very much.
That you look at, and say, hey, look, people recognized me. They recognized my accomplishments. And when people do that, it means a lot, but it means a lot for the school, because the school wants to honor the different ones who've put their hard work in, and you did while you were there. But how did that look? Did you play a couple years of JV, then varsity? How did it look for you, and what positions did you play during that time?
So I started out on JV as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Was a two-way guy, pitched, played a little bit of first base, and played a little bit of outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a coaching change. Coach Green came in as my sophomore year.
Okay.
Was fortunate enough to make varsity as a sophomore.
Oh, that's great.
Still trying to do the two-way thing.
Yep.
And really just kind of took off from there. And then really had a big jump my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that everything kind of came together,
Mm-hmm.
growing proprioception, spatial awareness.
Yeah.
And really kind of took off. And that was kind of where I saw how we always talk about the game will tell you when it's either time to hang them up or when it's time to focus on one position or another.
Yep.
That was kind of the time where it was like, hey, man, you're left-handed. You do a couple different things, being able to spin the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna keep you on the mound. And I was like, all right, that works out really well, because now that simplifies my job. Because being a two-way guy at Harrison, and even at Georgia State, like, that's a lot of time. A lot of time to commit to not just baseball, but now you're trying to be trying to get your swings in along with your throwing program, and it's a lot. There's very few. The fact that Shohei can do it and do it at the level he's doing it at is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But going to your point about the Hall of Fame, it's super humbling.
Yep.
But it's really a testament to the guys that I was able to play with, that I was fortunate enough to play with, that were really good in their own right, that I was able to spin a ball, put it in a spot, and they were able to make some big-time plays behind me. So.
Yeah. I think you said something really crucial just a second ago. You said the game will tell you when it's time to move, to shake. And I think that's an encouragement to guys who might be listening to this as they're playing, is that as you play the game of baseball and you keep going up the ladder, higher, you have to be malleable. You have to be adaptive.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are maladaptive, they'll break. They're brittle. You've got to be willing to say, what do I got to do to keep playing this game? Where do I need to focus my attention? You may love one thing over another, but you may be better at another than what you like to do.
Right.
And so I love what you just said a minute ago, because I remember myself when I got to the University of South Carolina my freshman year, I pitched in the fall and I threw some middle relief, but the game just changed when I got up there. I couldn't pitch like I did at Harrison. At Harrison, I just dominated.
Right.
When I got there, I'm thinking, I can't get any of you guys out. Nobody. It doesn't matter what I throw, what pitches I throw. I just can't get them out. But conversely, I would step up to the plate and I could still hit the ball.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, the Lord is talking to me through this game of baseball.
Right.
And I had to be willing, I had to humble myself and say, okay, I'm going to have to hang it up. And I hung it up at South Carolina, the pitching side. Just played first, hit, enjoyed it. But then it was wild, because when I transferred and went to Georgia State, the pitching piece came back in my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just as a closer. I had Bruce Suter teach me how to throw a split-finger fastball. And it really helped me dramatically. I mean, obviously my shoulder didn't feel great after a while, but it did. And so I think that's something I want to encourage guys that are listening to this. You may have to change in the course of your playing career if you want to keep playing, but there's always opportunity to change back. Maybe you played with somebody, you left from East Paulding Tell me about college. And you played with somebody who had to change, and he ended up being probably one of the greatest hitters in all of Major League Baseball that I can think of, because I think of him as like the complete hitter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But kind of wind us through there for just a second.
All right, so was fortunate enough. My dream school wasn't beating down my door coming out as a junior and senior. Was fortunate enough to look good in the sight of a set of eyes, that being the Atlanta Braves. Was fortunate enough to get drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
And then some doors started to open up. Went up on a visit with my dad to Young Harris when it was still a 2-year school.
Yep.
And really from there, everything kind of just fell into place. As soon as we got on campus, both my dad and I looked at each other and were like, yeah, this is it. Like it felt like home.
Yeah.
And was blessed to play with some unbelievable dudes, not just baseball players, but just really good guys.
Yeah.
Some of which are still my best friends to this day.
Wow.
But yeah, to your point, one of the greatest players that I've been fortunate enough to play with, and it was actually 2 guys, was Nick Markakis. Ended up finishing his career as an Atlanta Brave.
Yep.
And Charlie Blackman, who played his entire career in Colorado.
Yeah.
Both were 2-way guys at Young Harris. And really both were, well, Charlie was a PO at one point. And then both of them were crazy athletic. But just looking at Nick's practice schedule my freshman year, I mean, he's doing all the throwing, he's doing all the hitting, going through PFP work. It's like, dude, how do you have enough time to get everything done?
Right.
Like, he would come in after class early if it was the day he was supposed to start, get his early work in, get his hitting in, and then still be fresh to pitch. And it's like, man, oh man, like this is nuts.
Wow. It does take a lot of dedication and hard work to get to the next level and then the next level. I mean, there is a sense in which you've got to walk in humility, but humility is also coupled with and tethered to hard work. You've got to bust it. And you see any of those guys who are successful, they put hours of work in behind the scenes when nobody was watching. Nobody's getting to see the highlight reel on Instagram. It's just, I'm busting it behind the scenes. And they've also, because of the game of baseball, gone through hours and situations of failure to get to success. And I think that's another crucial mental aspect for baseball, but also life in general. Don't be afraid to fail. And I think that's something you've preached really regularly to a lot of guys is don't be afraid to fail. You know, fear's not a fruit of the Spirit. God's not giving us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. Go compete. It's when we are fearful that we pick one up and throw it to the outfield when it's bunted out to us. You know, it's when we go to the plate and we're fearful about the guy who throws 96. No, just compete.
Right.
And amazing things can happen. And if you happen to give up a home run or you happen to strike out, it's a learning process. You still got another at bat. It's a great game of baseball. We get another at bat. We get another day to throw. You've got another game coming up the day after that, because baseball was designed to play every single day, not like football, one day a week. That's horrible. I can't imagine trying to play football. I would have been a psychological wreck.
That would be miserable. One, because, I mean, Monday's film session, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're grinding it out.
Yeah.
Especially Georgia summer, August, September, it's still brutally hot. Walkthroughs on Thursday and then Friday a game. And then if heaven forbid you were to play bad, now you got to sit on it for a week.
Yeah.
It's like,
no,
this is miserable.
But
going back to your point about the failure piece,
the
thing that I learned from both Nick and Charlie, and one, they were two of the most humble dudes on the planet. But the other piece was they were such good teammates. Like, it was never about them. It was always about putting putting somebody else on the pedestal,
Yeah.
or promoting somebody else on the team. But that was where I really learned the piece of reframing what failure is. It's not failure unless you give up.
Yep.
It's really just a process in which or an opportunity in which we learned the process didn't work. So we've got to change our process to make that be a little bit more successful and have those results be a little bit more in our favor.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Success, as someone has said, success is a mound of failure you're standing on the top of. And that's true. It is so true. I do like how you said that Markakis and Blackman are guys that were so humble, yet they put a lot of hard work in. I had the same thing. Markakis played with Brian Roberts that I played with at South Carolina. Roberts was not that big of a guy. He was a little guy, but he was so humble, and yet he outworked everybody. Oh. And that's a character trait, I think, of these guys who get to go to the next level. Is you've got to be coachable. You've got to be teachable. You never arrive, as it were, like, oh, I'm the greatest. I figured it all out.
Right.
It's like, I still got more to learn. And yet you're looking at these guys thinking, no, you don't have anything else to learn. You're incredible.
Right.
But yeah, they're always wanting to learn. I mean, I saw this from Adam Everett. He took so many ground balls in high school after practice was over. We didn't drag the field like we do now because Everett was going to get out there and take more ground balls. Coach Elkins was going to hit and hit and hit. So there was no dragging after the game. I mean, after practice, right? Because that field's about to get messed up by Everett. Right. And he did the same thing at South Carolina. And he ended up in the World Series playing shortstop for the Houston Astros.
Right.
Unbelievable. But the same thing, humble guy, yet he hard work. Over and over again, you can kind of beat that same drum. I want to go back for just a second. We're gonna rewind a little bit chronologically speaking. We both played, not at the same time, I'm a little older than you. We played at East Cobb, and we played for a legend.
Yep.
Take us back to when you started playing at East Cobb, and then, who the different coaches maybe, or just kind of give us an idea what happened during that East Cobb era, because it was different than it is now.
It's totally different, or it was totally different then than it was now. I think there was really 2, maybe 3 teams at each age group. But such an unbelievable time in my career, really, really big in shaping kind of how I thought through things, how I came about my work, and really my craft as a pitcher. Yeah. I was very fortunate to work with 2 unbelievable pitching guys during my time or I guess 3 during my time at East Cobb. Coach Baldwin, who may still be one of the most intimidating dudes I've ever talked to, because he always rocked the sunglasses. In being, growing up, hey, you're always supposed to look somebody in the eye, but if you can't see their eyes, what are you supposed to do? Yeah. So you can't read what he's thinking. No. But Coach Pop, who is now, or I guess was the athletic director at Reinhardt. So he was at Oglethorpe University as a head coach when I was coming through East Cobb. Okay. Then took over as the head coach at Reinhardt, then became AD, and I think he's a commissioner of their conference now. My goodness. And then Al Getz, who is now into the agent realm, but was with the Braves at the time, and just those 3 guys, and shoot, I can't forget Eric McQueen. Oh, yeah. Being a catcher, seeing it from his eyes as the ball's coming into him, and learning just from those 4 guys kind of what it is, and each brought a different level of expertise. And I talk about this all the time, like there's a million different ways to say the same thing. Yeah. And picking up a little nugget from each one of those guys really springboarded my career into having some opportunities and some possibilities that, I wanted, but never thought in a million years a kid from East Paulding would have those opportunities. Yeah. I agree with you. I was a West Cobb redneck out here in the middle of nowhere. And, Gary didn't really pick up any guys
that weren't in East Cobb or in North Fulton.
Right.
And that was it. It was a small pocket. And he had called and asked me to come play for him. And just to be honest, Gary is one of the most polarizing individuals on the face of the earth. You either love him or absolutely hate him.
Right.
One of the two. There's no gray area with the guy. But I have to say the same thing, is that he was able to help me take it to another level that I would have never experienced if it wasn't for him reaching out, pulling me in. And the first year I was at East Cobb playing baseball for him as a 15-year-old, I thought, boy, I suck. Like, I'm not good. Like, I thought I was great, but I am not good. And that drove me to work even harder, but to learn more, ask more questions, spend more time after practice with him or Coach Guy.
Yep.
And Coach Guy taught me so much about hitting. Gary was there to teach me about pitching.
Right.
And I grew exponentially, just like you said, but it was an opportunity. And when I got to Harrison, and we've got Coach Power and Coach Elkins, well, now I'm getting even more. It's being reinforced.
Right.
And now it's the rebar inside the concrete. Like, it's unreal how the Lord put these different coaches together and around me.
Right.
So that I also get to go over to Bruce Suter's house and work on pitching in the barn. And he's teaching me. And I'm thinking, oh my word, these are opportunities that most kids would beg for at that time.
Right.
We didn't have all the internet and the education that we do now. And so to be able to tap those resources was a huge blessing. And then that obviously took me into college, where I played, at South Carolina and then Georgia State, and those coaches. And I think that's what we have to say out loud, not to toot our own horn, because we're just making much of other guys who poured into us. But if you're a player, you want to look to play for a great coach. Mm-hmm. Great coaches will take you to the next level. They will open up opportunities inside your own noggin that you didn't think existed.
Right.
They will pull things out of you that you realize, I can do this. Yeah, you can. You can do a lot more than you ever thought you could. And we played for Gary, so we also have some fun stories and jokes and laughs about the things he used to say and do. He used to always get thrown out of games constantly.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I've seen him get thrown out of the same game twice, which is...
How do you do that?
I don't know. Like, it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah. I played for him and Coach Guy, and they were great coaches. And then my senior year, this is when guys still played East Cobb baseball after their senior year, I played for a guy named Davis May. And Davis was he knew the game, mm-hmm. but he was also one of those guys that didn't have the notoriety and clout that a lot of other coaches had already obtained. But he didn't care. He just wanted to help guys get better.
And he loved the game of baseball, and he loved teaching
mm-hmm.
the game of baseball.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
was awesome.
He was a great guy. I think about Georgia State. I played for Coach Hurst, and playing at a Division I, 2A type school, we didn't have all the resources. Where I'd come from South Carolina, and you're flying everywhere, and you got 6 bats and all the crazy stuff, right?
Right.
He didn't have all the resources, but he taught us, and he really just recapitulated everything that I'd been taught at Harrison. It was blue-collar baseball. Mm-hmm. It was time to get after it. I don't need all the latest, greatest technology and machines. There's a bat, there's a ball, there's a glove, there's a field. Let's get after it.
Right.
Coach Hurst went on to be with the Lord a couple of years ago, but man, it was great to finish out my playing career playing for a guy who had that same, and now Coach Story has really etched something in history at Harrison High School, and that is dirt dog mentality.
Yep.
Dirt dog. It's time to get dirty. It's time to get after it. Switching gears just for a second, there's you're a coach at Harrison, you work at Harrison, but I want to give you a little bit of praise because you've helped us do something at Harrison that has been a blessing to a lot of people, and that is the Bible study that we have on Wednesday mornings at 7:30. Free Chick-fil-A biscuit, Bible study. It's from 7:30 till 8 o'clock.
Yep.
It's only 30 minutes, But what a great way to start it off with fellowship with other people, but also time in the Word with the Lord. And I just want to say thank you, because I guess we started that 5 years ago.
It's crazy to think it's been that long.
I can't believe it's been that long. But this past year, I mean, we had standing room only.
Yeah.
Number of times. Biscuits were gone early. And there were questions, comments, kids staying after to want to talk just about the Bible, about the Lord. And it was a great time of encouragement. I want to say thank you for making that happen. You know, you've, as a teacher, have to, go through all the process of filing out all the paperwork and doing everything in order for us to be able to do it. And it's been a huge blessing. I got to see my own son go through 4 years. It's pretty awesome that he's at a public school, and on Wednesday morning, he gets to show up, have a Chick-fil-A biscuit, which Lord knows he needs. He needs to put some weight on, and he gets to spend time in the Word, in prayer, and around Christian men. Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit of a unique thing in our world, is that you have this kind of an opportunity on a Wednesday morning at school, at a high school. As you think back over the last 5 years with the Bible study, what are some thoughts?
Well, first, it's super humbling to see how the Lord has worked through the Bible study, to see when it started, really Micah's freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Where we had maybe 5 to 10 students.
Yep.
And most of them were baseball players.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
To fast forward to now, 5 years later, it's grown exponentially. Standing room only.
Yeah.
Students from all walks of life, whether they're student athletes or just a student, guys, girls, different athletes from different, not just baseball players, basketball, cross country, lacrosse. I mean, it's been so cool to see how that's grown, how the Lord has grown that in the 5 years, but also see how He's growing in them and seeing how it's growing in our community.
Yeah.
In those 4 walls at Harrison High School. And to know that not only do they have trusted adults that they can go to, but they've got trusted friends they can go to that are walking the same steps that they are, that are in the Lord like they are. Yeah. And so just having that I'm not going to say safety net, but having that resource available to them has got to be awesome, especially from a parental standpoint.
I mean, I get the fortunate aspect of hearing from guys who've already graduated, who are off in college, who then tell me how much they appreciated what was set in place, foundations that were put in place as they got to go through the Bible study during their high school career. But I also get the unique perspective as a parent to see it and say, man, this is a blessing. But third, I graduated from Harrison, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And I'm sure we had a Bible study. Right. The only one I remember that they ever talked about was kind of like a goof-off session, and we just did stuff, and it just turned me off. Like, right. I'm not really, guys are not, and I mean guys are usually not attracted to effeminate guys, right. or goofy guys. Right. Like, we're serious, we want to know things, we want to get educated so we can execute on those things. And I think from that perspective too, I'm thinking, golly. And really that was kind of why we started this. Right. It was like, how can we be an encouragement, a help, a resource to others? You and I both know this world can be very discouraging, but what if we can step in and play a small part in encouraging you, whether it's on a Wednesday morning or on the baseball field? Right. I was standing there talking to one of the dads, son who played for us at Harrison, this morning after church. And, you know, it's so cool to think about how on the field I established that relationship with his son. I shared the gospel of Jesus Christ with his son. Some people may not like that, but I did. He asked me, so I did. And to see him and his dad regularly attending the church and now developing these relationships even deeper with the family, it's a blessing that only the Lord can do. But if you're a Christian, it never happens unless you get out into the community. And I think that's where you have a ministry. And this is where I want to encourage other people. If they're a Christian, don't just look for ministry that's inside the four walls.
Right.
Look for a ministry in the way God has gifted you. And he's gifted all of us in a very unique way. He gifted you with baseball. He gifted you in being a coach, being able to speak a certain way, to encourage guys, to get them to understand things and act on it. And they trust you, which is fantastic. But what a ministry that the Lord has given you. And you're not a man of the cloth, as it were. You're just a Christian living out your life,
Right.
trying to glorify him, encourage others, and help them. Amazing what the Lord's done for you and through you. I do remember when we first met years ago, you have been walking through some stuff, very difficult things. And when I think back to that time, and I think where the Lord's taken you through all these years to where he's got you today, I can't do anything but thank the Lord of how he has really equipped you and blessed you and been with you the whole way through to get you to where you're at today. And that's an encouragement to me to see how he was teaching you things through difficult times. It's almost like being in the middle of a game, you're pitching, bases are juiced, you got one out, you're sweating bullets, you're thinking, crud, we're about to lose the game. And it gets that way in life sometimes, you know, where you're thinking, this doesn't look good. This isn't what I imagined. This isn't how I put it all on paper. But that's life.
Right.
And in the game, you can get that ground ball to short, turn two, and you're out of the inning, and you win the game.
Right.
And with the Lord, it's the same thing in life. You can be in a pretty hairy situation, but he's only grooming you to take you to the next level, somewhere that's higher, greater, and better. And you may not have a quote-unquote son or daughter, but you have a lot of sons and daughters that you have coached and you've poured into. So it's pretty cool to think about how he's been so faithful to you.
It truly is, I know I say this a lot, humbling, but it truly is humbling to know that it's truly not about me. My playing career is over with. It's not about me. It's about helping give back to the game that provided so many different opportunities for us. But also, to your point, the word ministry. I'm not a biblical scholar like yourself. No. I'm not a theologian, but Christ is always in us. And you told me this when we first met, that while we may not have the words, he does. And our job isn't to speak the best word. It is just to be present and be available, and God will give us those words. And I think just being available and understanding that everybody's walking through something different. They're either walking into a storm or they're walking out of a storm, and meeting them right where they're at, and being open and attentive and being an active listener, and being able to hear what they're saying, genuinely hear what they're saying, and then be able to slow their heart down, slow their mind down, so that you can deliver the message that God's wanting you to deliver. And that's with not just our guys at Harrison,
Mm-hmm.
but other community members as well. And
Mm-hmm.
and yes, you're right. I don't have any kids, but I try to treat them like if I were talking to my younger brother.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's some difficult conversations that you got to have.
Yeah.
But being able to have them in a way to where we're walking out of there knowing that they got somebody behind them
Mm-hmm.
that's got their back, that hey, they're not doing life alone. Like there's others here that are going to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some pretty good times on that baseball field.
We do.
There's fun games, but then there's a lot of goofing off too. There's some fun stuff that we get into. Well, we're gonna wrap it there, but I do appreciate you coming, spend some time, and looking forward to the upcoming season.
Yes, sir.
I think the Lord's got some incredible things for us.
And the pitching coach calls enough strikes, or the right strikes, that we may have a chance.
We got to put some runs across the plate too.
That helps too.
Yeah, that's right. I always think back to the Braves and the Yankees. When I was growing up, they could never beat the Yankees. They had the best pitching. The Yankees always could put at least a couple more runs across than we could. So, yeah. But no, thank you for joining me today, and thank you to those who have been tuning in. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check out the link below in the description. We're praying for you. Please pray for us as we try to give people multiple exposures to the gospel.